I'm excited to see Nick again. I like him. I think he's a nice person.
Nick who? Fuentes?
Nick Fuentes.
Is that who we're talking about?
I don't think I asked him on the show, like, are you anti-Semitic? Would you label yourself anti-Semitic? And he said no.
Nobody would.
Have you,
Lauren,
Lauren, have you heard of this concept of a lie? This is the problem with Nick Fuentes. So much of
He's
what
been
he's
in the
saying
same room
is,
as Trump.
So much of what he's saying is true. This is the problem.
Same as being racist.
No, we're talking.
It's based on conspiracy theories.
No, we're talking about a very, very small group of people who have been oppressed, who have been looked down on by cultures all across the world, who have been genocided, systemically oppressed. No.
Prepare tonight better. I don't know.
Tell Zerka I said hi. Tell him Lav said hi.
Okay, I will not.
The way Tom told you to ask those questions, though, that would be actually the best way for you to get the answer.
I don't really, I think it's kind of a change, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not really following, but like, see you later.
Thank you, Zonia. Laugh.
I would like to clarify in this solemn moment that it is a dolphin penis. And that if given the chance, I might have sex with the dolphin.
Okay, so Zerka posted this. These women really want Nick. That's Lauren. Right there. And then... she also sent me this.
That's fine. So yeah, so we'll check. Yeah, so let's go to Holocaust Museum and history. There's gotta be two checks. Learn history from Rumble videos.
He doesn't like fiction. Sci-fi.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go, Brandon.
Look, Sneako's thinking of a joke, but he can't think of one.
Yeah, I heard that'll kill you.
So
But maybe they'll make a documentary about you.
It's not all that much fun.
Yeah, we can make a documentary about your life, and then I could have my girlfriend post a thing about how nasty
Documentary about my life would be a good. That would be a good documentary.
Okay, you know what? I heard something about you, that sounded cool. Like, I don't know if I'm like leaking private information about you, but I heard of something.
No, go ahead.
I don't think this is. I heard that you like I heard that you in the past like found like drug dealers and you like stole from them. Like you. Yeah, so what is this story? That's cool.
So I was a drug dealer and a heroin addict. So me and my friends would meet other drug dealers or people that we were selling drugs to, or even drug dealers that would sell to us. And one day we dressed up in SWAT uniforms, got on 2 SUVs, rode up to the house, ran in with like a battering ram, broke in. So my girlfriend first would go hang out with them. Go over to their house, hang out, tell us where the drugs were, make sure that like the safe is open and everything, make sure that their like guard is down, they're hanging out and everything. And then we would break in and take all their drugs and then punch a couple of them, be like, oh, damn it, like we can't arrest them because we punched them. So we're just gonna confiscate all this stuff. Better not deal drugs anymore. And then we'd walk out with all their stuff.
That's amazing. That's like a real life Breaking Bad scenario.
You're lucky you didn't get shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why that's the point in the girlfriend going first. Like her going and hanging out with them first is texting us, telling us everything like, going on. Yeah.
You're lucky they didn't realize you weren't actually police.
So they did. Well, so no, a couple of people did, and it ended up in the newspaper that like people were dressing up in SWAT uniforms and robbing drug dealers. And so one day, I'm driving down the road, cops come behind me. I start to run. I run a couple of times, got in the way. I had drugs in the car, so we start throwing all the drugs out of the car. Cops finally pull us over. You know, we have to get out of the car with our hands on top of our head, walk backwards. They put us in cuffs, set us on the sidewalk, rip the car apart. And they come over and they're like, there's no drugs in the car. Why did you run? Like, why the hell did you run? What was the point in that? And I said, I said, somebody, a fake SWAT team robbed me and all my friends the other day. and I was afraid you guys were the same people trying to rob us again, and they actually let us go. Like, they were like, okay, that we know who you're talking about. That. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow, very low conscientiousness levels, borderline.
Did you ever?
Social.
When you're a heroin addict, that's just kind of what you're.
No.
Oh, that's not special
Did
for
you
a
ever
heroin
face
addict.
the penal system for any
Sorry?
of this? Did you ever like catch
Yeah, I went-
charges for?
Yeah, I went to prison. I got arrested on RICO, and then they ended up just charging me with like a bunch of like 17 other
Typical
charges
boy
instead.
behavior. And that's where he found his husband. Isn't that sweet?
No,
Isn't that cute? I think it's so cute.
Very cute. Very
I-
cute.
that is no.
I heard that in prison, if you are a bottom, then you're more likely to remain gay after leaving prison.
don't
But
know.
if you're a top,
I
then
don't know
you're
any
not
of it.
less likely to
Are you
remain
talking
gay
about
after leaving.
Assuming and bottom bunk.
So
No, I'm talking about.
No, yes,
So,
that's it.
the only people who actually like that for me, like when I was in there, the only people that ever actually like engaged in that were like the biggest freaking kingpin guys, and then some like mentally ill, like autistic or kid who just like wasn't really all there. Those were always the relationships. It was never the way it looks in like movies.
So you can't, as a way to like protect yourself, you can't like become someone's bitch for their protection.
No, that kind of is like how they're convinced into doing it, is that like that yeah, like because the mentally ill kids are not they're not part of like some big crew. They don't have a whole lot of friends. They don't have a whole lot of value that they provide, and so there's not much that they can do to like get out of this sort of stuff.
Prisoner rules are wild, especially the fact that they like. It's actually broken up by race, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, generally in Atlanta prisons, not so much. It's not nearly as bad. But
Did you go to an Atlanta prison?
well, no, I mean like Georgia, like prisons, like.
Where did you
prisons
go
in
to
Georgia.
prison?
So I went to Jackson first. That's where you go through diagnostics, and
But
then
where is that? What state?
Georgia. Yeah.
Oh,
Yikes.
damn. You were really in there.
I don't know what that means.
You were really in it.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Lav, you're getting locked up in one of the states in the United States. Which state would it be,
California.
and why? If you could choose.
California.
No.
Uh,
no.
That sounds
No.
bad.
No. Not
Well,
California.
Silicon Valley, maybe. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
No.
mine's
Why is it
in-
California? Wait, for a violent
California
crime?
has like cholo like
Wait,
freaking
what
gangs
was my
all
crime? What was
over
my
the
crime?
place.
Yeah.
dude.
Wait,
Gang
first of
violence.
all, I can deal with that. I'm also a woman. We're talking about women's prisons.
It's probably still the gangs and women's.
Yeah.
It's not as bad,
Yes.
but
It's not as bad at fucking all. I would just find a girlfriend. We'd do our thing.
You and Paris
you know-
Hilton can hang out.
Yes, exactly. I'd get special privileges. I'd sleep with the COs.
sounds like a sweet deal.
Laws are lax over there. No, I don't know. Probably Vermont.
Martha Stewart would show you how to make cupcakes.
Yeah.
Right? Like Vermont feels like a good place. Vermont
I
or
feel Vermont. I feel Vermont very strongly. I feel like maple syrup
Yeah.
girls. You know.
yeah,
very
like
soft.
yeah, like mostly people are just gonna be there for like drug offenses. So they're all gonna be like nodding off,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be doing my shit. I'm gonna be like the kingpin of the Vermont prison.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Or like
Mr. Tom,
Idaho,
Yeah.
some like Idaho girls.
I was
that
talking to you in the
had
chat.
the daddies.
You don't even answer me.
Mm.
The
you're
second
right.
Lab hops in chat, you answer her back. I think I had to come out and call out the simpery going on here.
Okay, earrings.
Thank
Lab,
you for calling
and
it
you
out.
too. You too. What happened to the debate?
I don't know if you know this. I've been offline for like 2 months.
I don't know this because all I know is you were supposed to
This is
come
my
on
first day
and
out
then
here.
you just ghosted me.
Damn.
You're a hater.
Listen. I got a lot
But
to do.
Tom, what the
Men
It's
are
hell?
alright.
the top
She
of my
ghosted me
roster.
for like a year before she finally came on. So
That's true.
It's all
I'm
good.
playing hard to get.
How do you take this from her, Tom? What is this? What What is it?
I don't have much of an ego. You guys talk about taking things. I don't care too much.
I don't know. I think this is a cover up. I think
It's a
actually have
psyop. This is
secret
actually the
ego.
cabal.
What's the cabal?
Yeah. Tom is here from he's a psyop from
Speaking of,
Big Women.
after a recent debate on a very recent podcast, I'm thinking of becoming a groiper.
Why is this?
I'm starting to ask some questions.
About the Jews? You're Jewish, and
I
you're
didn't-
asking
listen, I
questions
didn't
about
say
the
it.
Jews?
Listen, I didn't say it.
Yeah. A Jewish girl becoming a groiper. That sounds great.
I'm just saying someone came out of that debate looking pretty good. That's all I'm saying.
You're not wrong.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're not wrong.
I'm just saying I could be convinced.
Lauren was there. Lauren was there live for the debate.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched like highlights of like owned clips on in Big Tech's little thing. So I get all my groiper information from Big Tech.
Okay.
So that's
So
cool. But how do you feel about Jews, Lauren?
Oh
She's
God.
Jewish.
Slay,
She's
so am
also
I.
Jewish. Yeah.
Listen,
How are you Jewish?
My mother.
Are you
my
100%
mother's
Jewish?
No, I'm like 20% Ashkenazi Jewish, and my dad is Sephardic, but that doesn't show up on a 23andMe.
Okay, that's cool.
I didn't have a bat mitzvah, but I went to a couple years of Hebrew school, and we celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas. So
Do you know the alphabet?
no, I could not tell you. I remember a little bit of a like Shabbos chant. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. I won't bother you.
No,
guys,
keep
but yeah.
going.
No.
No, keep going.
No,
I
I
grew up-
denounced this part of myself.
I grew up-
denounced this part of myself.
I grew up celebrating Jewish holidays. We celebrated Hanukkah, Passover. We sang like tons of Jewish songs, and
I thought you were Christian.
was Christian, but Jews are the chosen
Now you're
people, so
Jewish?
we celebrate
they're
their
the
culture as well.
Yeah.
Are you joking? You're
No.
joking about that one. Come on. You guys
No.
really did all that too?
Yeah, I worked for like growing up, like I helped with nonprofits. One was called what was it? The Jewish something foundation. Like, yeah, there were a number of like Jewish nonprofits that I
Jewish Women's
volunteered at growing
Foundation.
up. So yeah.
So
I
it's
know
because
all
you
the-
worked for them that you celebrated them.
Well, no, it's again, it's because they're the chosen people. Like that. That's why my
Oh.
dad would
Lau-
my
Lau-
dad
so
would
Lauren-
go and like teach Passovers. He was a pastor, and so he would go and like teach Passover to different Christian churches and teach Hanukkah. We'd teach a bunch of different songs and all of like the different types of celebrations and parts of the culture and all of that.
Cool.
Lauren, how do you feel about talking to
Very
Nick
cool.
tomorrow?
You're still a goy though.
I'm excited to see Nick again. I like him. I like him. I think he's a nice person.
Nick who? Fuentes?
Nick Fuentes.
Is that
yeah.
who we're talking about?
Like the number
He's a
one
nice guy.
Nazi. Number one
Yeah.
Nazi.
He was nice enough. I don't think I asked him on the show, like, are you anti-Semitic? Would you label yourself anti-Semitic? And he said no.
Nobody would.
Have you,
No,
Lauren,
you ever
have,
searched him
Lauren,
up?
have you heard of this
Just
concept
search
of
him up
a
in Google
lie?
and look
Have you
what
heard of this
comes up in his
concept of a
Wikipedia.
lie?
It's like, hey, Richard Spencer, are you racist? No? Oh, cool.
He's not anti-Semitic, but he will argue about the GC for hours. Like you know, like
He's allowed to
passionately.
believe the Holocaust didn't happen. He's just retarded.
I think that
He's just retarded.
you could be retarded and believe the Holocaust didn't happen and see that there's censorship around certain topics and be skeptical due to that censorship and not be anti-Semitic. Like, I think I can genuinely say that he is trying to base everything in logic and he is trying to question why certain things can't be talked about. Like, I want to understand his perspective better. And if he's not straight up telling me to my face, I hate all Jews, I mean, that's better
Then
than...
you'll never.
Go-
You'll just.
hold
You'll
on.
just.
There
So
are
unless he
engaged-
says it, you'll do
Wait.
nothing.
I have engaged with Groypers and Nick Fuentes and all of his followers for years, okay? go watch their shows on Cozy. You will get a very, very, very different impression of them than what they put on when they're on shows.
I get the Telegram notification whenever you live.
Yes, go watch.
I literally
go watch
just
some of
watched an
those.
interview with
You're
him where he
becoming a
says
griper
it
too,
would be
Lauren.
better if
I'm
America
not
was
a
white.
griper. I know the Holocaust exists. My grandma survived the Holocaust. I'm 50% Jewish. My entire mom's side of the family is Jewish. And definitely don't believe the same things Nick believes, but at least his beliefs, like for instance, when I talked to him about race and IQ, he at least genuinely does believe that it's 100% genetic, and he's willing to come say like, well, genetics is. He was willing to agree. He was willing to come to a middle with me when we talked about it maybe not being 100% genetic, it being some nurture, and it being societal, and genetics being changed with that, like evolution, and therefore with culture changing evolution. But that's the side, and like essentially grooming and breeding. But
eugenicism, based eugenicism. Okay.
No. Like for instance,
Didn't you call like another streamer anti-Semitic for a joke?
It's like if society is saying, oh, having big tits and big ass, that's like the most important thing, then you're going to get a lot of women in future generations with big tits and big ass, and that's all that's going to matter. But if a society cares a lot about brain, like intelligence, and that's really important to society sexually, and that's a way to succeed sexually.
Yeah, Hitler had some great ideas.
So that's like a cultural. So, like in certain cultures, it's sexy to be intelligent.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is cap. This is cap. You're doing this because Nick Fuentes is a big streamer. This is cap. You called Starlight anti-Semitic for a joke. This is cap. What you're doing right here. I don't know what you're doing here. This is a joke.
You could still be anti-Semitic and then
you called somebody. Didn't you call another streamer for making a joke anti-Semitic?
So Hello Starlight made fun of my Holocaust surviving grandma.
And it was a joke, right? Like it was a joke about it?
My Holocaust surviving grandma.
Well, Nick Fuentes doesn't believe in your surviving grandparents,
Nick Fuentes,
right?
He believes in Jewish black magic.
Nick Fuentes is
he believes that there's a Jewish subversion. He believes these words are a quote from his mouth. That there is a Jewish subversion of the American creed is happening.
No, she's buying into how charismatic Nick is.
Do you know that content creator who made fun of my grandma?
Didn't she say you looked like a Holocaust survivor or something? That was the joke. She said you looked like a Holocaust survivor.
Right, and an immediate
and then you called her anti-Semitic. Well, this guy's made way more anti-Semitic things. I'm just saying.
That's not what happened.
What happened?
So she said, you look like a Holocaust survivor. And I asked her, did you ask me that knowing that my grandma survived the Holocaust? And she said, yeah, of course I did, bitch.
Ew, she sounds like a wretched whore.
So
that's. I mean,
I don't know why he's trying to call me out for that right now.
Yeah, because SpeakEazy, because you have to understand, she's gonna take that a lot more personally as well than her just saying this about some random person, right? Like it doesn't matter that it's a joke.
It's a bias. You're doing this because if Nick Fuentes would have said
that was a small clip. How did you see that clip? Where did you see that clip?
I know a lot of people. I know I'm new in the internet space, but I know a lot of people.
It's just that she's.
How it goes.
Yeah, what people?
I know everybody.
No, I just seems.
Look,
really
I don't think
I'm God's favorite. I know you don't know me yet, but I'm God's favorite. Just.
I don't want to dog on you for being a hypocrite, but I just want to tell you.
Side of the internet, I didn't think was associated to this.
I just thought it was hypocritical. What you were doing.
This is the problem. Yeah. This is the problem with Nick Fuentes.
Mm-hmm.
So much of
he's
what
been
he's
in the
saying
same room
is,
as Trump.
So much of what he's saying is true. This is the problem.
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier. Like everybody who pushes propaganda starts off with some sort of fundamental truth and then attaches a bunch of bullcrap to it.
Yes. So his talking about Jews being greedy or having values that are typically leftist and anti-family is like objectively true right now in the cultural zeitgeist. Like it is just true. And then trying to, run him off of platforms ends up looking much worse to him, and then it makes him be like, oh, there's a global conspiracy, like, stuff like that. A lot of what he's saying about crime statistics and, in the Black population also true. People are very uncomfortable with it. The problem is that the leftist response to Nick, I think, where it's like, no, how dare you, and also you're stupid, and also like pearl clutching, when I wish that we could all just talk about these things.
No, wait, because
No,
we
I have
do
a
need
different
to
problem.
hold
I have
on.
a different
Wait,
problem.
we do need to stigmatize those beliefs, right? Like it should be like bad to say like anti-Semitic things. We should kind of stigmatize that.
If Nick,
I don't think that anti-Semitism is above anything else. If you call someone retarded,
Sure.
if you call someone stupid, you are allowed to be anti-Semitic. You are allowed to be,
No,
whatever.
that's very different. No, because we're talking about
No,
people
if
who
you're
are
allowed
like
to be it,
we're
I'm
talking
allowed
about
to
people
react
who
how I
are
want.
systemically
Yeah, exactly.
oppressed.
Anti-Semitism is not
No,
the same as
we're
being
talking-
racist
no,
because
we're talking.
it's
hold on,
based
wait,
on conspiracy
wait,
theories.
No, we're talking about a very, very small group of people who have been oppressed, who have been looked down on by cultures all across the world, who have been genocided, systemically oppressed. No, we're not saying that they are oppressed. We're saying that we don't allow this with any groups of people. So just to say, compare it to say calling somebody stupid is very, very different. But if you want to compare it to like being racist against Black people, yeah, sure. Like it's very similar in
it's
that
not
way.
comparable because anti-Semitism, at least his brand of it, like so there's anti-Semitism like a lot of Black people have, where they're just like pissed that the Jewish people are like rich. Like that's a comparable being racist against Black people. But the type of thing where Nick Fuentes is like, when you're a Nazi, you believe in conspiracy theories that like Jews are trying to like subvert everybody, and so it
That's
turns
not
into
what we were talking
QAnon
about.
shit. He turns into QAnon shit really fast, and it makes people like insane. And he's the thing about Nick Fuentes is he's not just like a streamer guy. The thing that makes it a different thing when it's him is he's been in the same room as fucking Trump, and he's a politician. He's trying to go to the fucking top, and he wants to actually enact like policies to to fucking like do shit, like to make the country white, to like get rid of Black people, to fucking eugenicize people. He wants that shit.
What you're saying. First of all, we have a republic. If people want to elect certain people, people shouldn't be excluded from being, unless it's within the statute and or constitutional.
Sure, yeah, we don't want to become fascist in the name of not being fascist. It's like
and
very
then
weird.
The thing is, we have to if we continue to censor him as we're doing across almost every platform, it is making it almost impossible for us to understand him, and it's allowing his audience to grow within a chamber and therefore not being challenged. And then when they are challenged, it's such a blind side to the people that they're challenging that we're not actually having an honest conversation.
But that's why
I agree with that.
But that's why people like me, people like Destiny, like a bunch of other people will have them on and talk to them and debate them and engage with them. Nothing. Shut up. There's nothing. No. I should not have brought. No. I should not have said anything. I should not have said anything. But that's why people like me debate.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Debate Nazis and engage with them and like have the conversations with them in good faith. But that's not the same as like giving them a massive platform. Nick Fuentes was a lot bigger when he was on YouTube. He was a lot freaking bigger when he was on YouTube.
Yeah, and I think that he would have been more able to have more nuanced opinion if he was having more conversations with a wider variety of people.
It was like 6 years before he got banned. It was like 6 years before he got banned. 6 years. He had 6 years to have a more nuanced opinion. He was doing it for a long time.
But he's a kid.
He is a kid.
Yeah, he's very young, and he's still very, probably close
We were
with
all
his parents.
kids. We were all kids. We weren't all freaking leaders of the biggest neo-Nazi movement in the nation.
He's very polite. Like, have you ever?
That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. He's a nice guy.
He's very charismatic.
Hitler had a wife and kids. I'm sure lots of people thought he was a super nice guy too. Yes,
Hitler had some good points.
I just think that he wasn't hateful towards people that he clearly knew were black.
You,
of course.
that's what it
Okay,
was.
this
He
is the
wasn't
problem.
hateful
This is
towards
this
you.
is well, this
And
is
I
another problem. Is
understand.
that you don't need to be hateful to be dangerous. In fact,
I think
a
that
lot of
he
people are dangerous that are not
Rare
hateful.
laugh W.
I think that Nick is dangerous in that he is so charismatic, and this is exactly. I mean, obviously, you're someone who's been affected by the Holocaust. Your bubby was,
Yeah.
escaped the Holocaust. But when you talk about like how Hitler came to power, it was very much charisma. It was very much he at the beginning was like, I want to center the arts, families, stuff like that, and everyone was like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. And then very quickly it divulges, and if you really ask Nick what he wants to mandate that no Jewish person is in power, which is a problem. He wants to, eradicate Jewish values, which then you ask, okay, what the fuck does that mean?
I'll ask him that tomorrow on the stream. I'll ask him, do you want to prevent Jewish people from being in power? Like, is that actually, because he also says he's America first, and that would be unconstitutional. So I highly doubt that he's antithetic to the American Constitution.
Well, he thinks that Jewish values are against the Constitution.
Yeah, so that's
Okay,
not what you ask him. Hold on, but because that's not what you ask him, because he will put it into some sort of pragmatic view. You ask him, in like the best world, would Jews live in the United States? In the best world, if you created the world and started from scratch, would black people live in the United States? He will say no, but he'll say, well, that's not a possible dream because that's not pragmatic, so I don't advocate for that. But if he could create the world from scratch, I've asked him this before, yes, he would make it to where Jews and black people are not in the United States.
Okay, I'm just gonna plug my shit. Message me on Instagram and message me something that you want me to ask Nick, and I'll try to get some of your
Yeah,
questions.
that's a good idea. I
I
don't
want
like. I just for the record, I don't think it's. I think that people should talk to people. I don't think he should be deplatformed. I just think that like someone like specifically Nick, it's like a really he's actually like a politician. So it's like it's just more serious, you know?
I think
That's
he
all I
should be
think.
dominated
not
and
actually
humiliated
about-
sexually repeatedly
He's
in
not a
public.
politician. He's not a politician, though. Just because you've been in the same room as Trump, I've been in the same room as Trump, Hillary, and Bernie Sanders. That doesn't make me, and I'm not a politician. That doesn't make me.
I think that's the goal. He does want. I think he does want to be a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I think that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean maybe not, but it
What
seems
is
I
like
don't think it's gonna happen for
he
him.
is a personable person. He's very charismatic. He's very,
Very funny,
like,
smart.
yes, he's funny. Yes, he is
I'll
very
give
smart.
him that.
He's
too.
so
Yeah, sure,
likable.
sure.
Yes, he is
That's
a
the
very
problem.
likable
I'll give
person.
him that
and-
shit.
and
I wanna
he's-
fuck
But the shit he says that makes me wanna, like,
Yeah, but like, but the
I can
more,
judge
so there was a period of my life where I was a Richard Spencer follower, and like the main thing was I was like, dude, I went and watched his interviews. Everybody keeps calling this guy a neo-Nazi, and then I watched and like listened to his videos, and all he's saying is that like white people are treated differently from black people, and that like Jews are in disproportionate positions of power, and nobody will listen to him, and they deny that that's true, and we would see like compilations of people denying these things, and like, yeah, that's very convincing when I'm a young kid. But then eventually I grow up and realize like, oh, that's not actually the case. Like, most people know Jews are in disproportionate positions of power. Most people don't actually hate white people. Most people aren't like actually doing these things, but they'll take like small slivers of like people, random teenagers on TikTok, and then act like this is like Joe Biden is saying this stuff, or like it's a real problem in the United States when it's just not. And so, yeah, like eventually I came out of these things because I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, they're not horrible people. They're not running around murdering black people all over the place like everybody thinks, but that's not what they want. They want real political power. They want to be liked. They want people to listen to them. And then the more they're able to be personable, the more people will start to fall into and I call it a trap. They're not like malicious in that way to where they're thinking, if I can just pretend to be a likable person, people will fall. It's not like that, but it is a trap in a pragmatic way where if they are likable, people will start to listen to them and start to believe crazy things that they're saying.
Facts.
I
Yeah,
don't.
most people that are like evil people, they're really charismatic, right? Like,
I really
that's
don't like.
every
Charles
single one of them. Yeah. What's up, Zonia?
Hello, how you doing?
How's it going, Zonia? Sorry,
Not
Lauren.
bad.
Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I really don't like the advancing of an idea that is false and promotes hatred against Jews. I'm not for that. Being said, I'm also against the censorship of that idea because I think it creates more zealous advocates in that idea. And I think it creates chambers, bubbles in which people have that idea in which they aren't getting questioned and they're not having open discourse because they get forced into. Yeah, I've already said this kind of repeatedly, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're like a lawyer. So I think you can handle it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I very pro First Amendment, very pro First Amendment.
I
And
am as
second.
well, but not when it comes to other people's property. Like, I feel like Twitter has a right to freedom of speech as well, and they should be able to decide what kind of speech they do and don't want on their platform. Same with YouTube, same with everybody else. And I think he's allowed to go make his own platform as well. And I'm happy that he's capable of going creating Cozy and having his own platform and doing what he wants there. But there's a pragmatic thing of like, you know, as much as I would love for everybody to just be able to have the open market of ideas where everybody can say what they want and that sunlight is the best disinfectant. If that was the case, like, just neo-Nazis never would have existed in the first place. But they did. And so there's always...
That doesn't mean no bad idea will ever exist just because the marketplace of ideas and sunlight
means it won't become popular. It means it won't become popular or take over.
I don't think that's what the sunlight metaphor is about. I think the sunlight metaphor is about if you're able to be honest about your feelings, then you won't develop resentment towards people. That's what I thought the saying was about.
No, sunlight's the best disinfectant means if a bad idea comes to light, people will be able to push back against it and make it look bad really very quickly.
Yeah.
But
I think
I like my way better.
But like Trump got
to-
elected, like, so I gotta run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Lauren, if you're wondering about things to push, he brought up when he was talking to you on the podcast that he hasn't done enough research about the actual numbers of the Holocaust. And I can send you these documents. It's actually the best documented genocide
Add
in
me on
history.
Discord. Anyone can add me on Discord or Instagram or whatever. I'd love to chat. Oh, you already did. Perfect.
Yeah, I'd push him on that because I think he'll look the dumbest that way.
Okay. I'll do that. It's one thing that's really annoying about the show is if you have tits, you have to give your phone over to one of the producers before the show. If you don't have
Why
tits,
only tits?
Print it out.
Yeah, so like Nick, Destiny,
Print out your tits?
Zerka, Sneeko, they all got to keep their phones, but then all the women on the panel, they had to turn over their phones.
I noticed.
Oh, you're talking about Fresh and Fit. Yeah, if you
so
ask them for
content-minded.
paper, they'll give you paper to write shit down, though.
He had a video on Twitter from like his perspective from his phone. It's so brilliant of an idea to have done.
Oh yeah, and then the dinner afterwards, wild. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for tomorrow. Hopefully, I prepare tonight better. I don't know.
Tell Zerka I said hi. Tell him Lav said hi.
Okay, I will not.
The way Tom told you to ask those questions, though, that would be actually the best way for you to get the answer.
I miss him. That is my.
You miss Zerka?
That's my great friend Zerka. Talk to him the next time he pipes up. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
God.
Next time he pipes up about something, and just ask him why he tries so hard to hide his double chin with angles on streams. Ask him why he wears black to hide his gut.
Probably because he's fat.
Yeah. That is the reason why. But
But didn't he lose a ton of weight? Like he lost a ton of weight.
Is that so? Coke will do that.
Yeah, wasn't he like? I thought he did like more really for a while, and then he like lost a ton of weight, which is why he feels so hot. Because like he's hotter than he was.
No, it's a meme. Nothing he does is real. He just like likes attention a lot. You picked up on that.
I mean, he's as real as his teeth.
Everything's a joke.
Yeah, he has.
Everything's a joke.
He is. Dude, I remember when he got those teeth, I was like, oh my god.
Bruh.
Nay.
You know what I never understand when people get those teeth? Like, don't they like? Why is it always like straight across? Like they don't put no fucking
Dude, it's
definition
brutal.
in the teeth
Looking
whatsoever.
like
Like,
George Washington.
it
so
looks
bad.
so fucking weird.
And it's so
I just-
bad for your gum health. And it, like, I think people who have that actually have a higher, like, morbidity rate. Like, they're going to die a little bit earlier than most people just because of, like, gum disease and because of, like, you get heart issues. Like, it creates all sorts of infectious.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then also,
I think
like,
it's sexy.
Yeah, you're depraved.
The just straight.
No, I don't know. I don't
It
fucking
looks
care.
weird. Like I've seen people get it where they actually like they have like the fangs look a little longer and shit. But then like some people get it like his where they're like straight across. It looks so fucking.
I don't
weird.
know how he paid for those teeth. He's homeless.
He's like, oh,
What
like
do you
all
mean?
these videos
He's the
he's posting.
biggest
He's like,
person ever. He is the most viral person ever. What do you mean?
yeah, he
He's
parties it
literally
up.
Have you listened to him before?
He literally begs.
He says
for
it
money.
himself.
I just don't know how he paid.
I feel like he's
Are
like
we
a
still
professional
talking
like
about
couch
Zerka?
surfer.
Apparently, yeah, we're still talking about
He
Zerka.
does. He spends all of his money on coke. Like, what do you think?
yeah.
He's a baller, bro. You have to admit you have to have good money to
I'm
keep up
pretty
with
sure
that. habit.
every time Zerka's name is said on the
I
internet,
just robbed
his
everybody.
ego grows. Like he can hear it. So like, if we could just like not.
He's like a rat. He's like a rat. I love him.
Oh my
though. I
god,
love him
he
to death.
loves himself.
He's a good
so
guy. He's a good guy when he's not trying to like play it up. He's a good.
I've heard this. I've heard this from other people. I have heard this from other people. But then last night at dinner, he ate my gyoza, and I wanted to stab him in the eyeballs with my chopsticks. So.
That is his worst offense. Forget the misogyny. Forget
Thank you.
all of it.
Misogyny.
I
No.
don't eat or order very much. He ordered like 5 of his own dishes, and before they came,
I
the
bet he didn't
waitress
pay
like
for it.
he saw what I ordered. Click, click. There's 4 pieces. He took no. There were 6 pieces. He took 2. No, 4. No, 4, and he took 2. Yeah, 4, and he took 2.
Damn, I'm surprised he can eat with how much coke he does.
I'm not
I
surprised.
think that explains the
This is-
guy. That
that
explains the
Tom
guy.
looks dead inside because we're talking about Zerka or something about his
I love Zerka. I'm a Zerka fan.
Nope.
Number one
not.
Zerka fan.
I think he's
I said-
funny. He's fucking
Same.
funny.
I'm actually you guys aren't even gonna see it coming. I'm gonna be the Groiper queen. I'm going to surpass Nick Fuentes.
Last time you said something was coming, we did see you for months after. What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
no, no.
well,
Brittany,
here's the thing,
Brittany
here's the thing.
from
I'm a
Brittany
very
from Politically
thick-headed
Provoked is the Groiper queen right now. Okay,
No, she's not. She's an old
Yes.
worn out hag.
She's the Groiper queen.
She's on the way
you
out.
know it.
She's on the way out, and I'm replacing her. All she does is sit there and giggle. I could lead a generation.
Yeah, that's what they want her to
I
do.
love
That's
you
that's
on
what
whatever
Groipers want.
podcast
They don't want a
yesterday.
strong woman.
I loved you on whatever.
They want a
Lav's
trad
first thing
wife.
she
They
got
want a
says when she
wife.
get on here, you can't
Trad
change the
mommy.
world. Now she's gonna lead a generation. Lav,
Just
come on.
Pearly things is a strong woman.
You can't change the world, but you can make money.
See, now you're being honest. Here we go.
That's a quote.
Hey,
Smeth's
And
just
that's
memeing for the reactions. He says
No,
something
he-
and waits to see if people react.
No, I actually think that like if you do like follow her actions, don't follow what she says, and she's like a good role model for women. She's like a strong, independent, intelligent, like she's just
oh,
like
by her words,
says women
not her
shouldn't vote.
actions.
Yeah, true.
you see women shouldn't vote.
Wait,
But
who are
like
you talking about? Brittany?
just
Pearly things.
You,
Oh,
Oh, I
Have you-
thought
I
you
think
said
I'm supposed to have
Lav's. I was like,
I
Wait,
think
have
I'm
you-
supposed to
I
have
have
a
a
debate
question.
with her coming up soon.
tell her that I love her and that I would like to
You
have a
are.
conversation with her. I think. Have you guys ever thought that not so erudite is like just pearly things for people who think they're the smartest in the room?
nah,
No.
your date's based.
No.
Consider
Yeah,
it.
no,
next time
erudite is
you
very
talk to
different.
erudite,
Not even
consider it.
close. Not even
Consider it.
close.
just consider it.
Not even close.
I
Okay,
find she
I'll think
doesn't-
on it.
just Pearly thinks has been saying women shouldn't
I'll
vote.
let you know.
Listen, give Kyla a year.
What are you debating her on, Tom? I can't wait to watch that. What are
We're
you
still
debating her
talking
on?
about we're still talking about the topics. I'm not positive, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't even know if the
We're
person
just shit
who
talking
is setting
random
it up.
people here.
I don't even know if the person who's setting it up wants me to
Gossip Corner.
talk about it, but it's a
Sure sounds
possibility
like it.
that it's going to happen.
Okay.
Who are we
I
shit
hope it does.
talking next?
That'd be cool.
I don't even know what the point. So this is a pop one. I don't know. This is my first time popping onto the pop on. What do
I
we
know
do
at
here?
first you guys were talking about abuse or something. That's what I heard when I was listening in at first.
Like normally
Abuse is paced, by the way.
On like Wednesdays, I'll have like set up panels where like everybody's invited like a week ahead of time, and we set up all the topics and everything. But the day before, normally I'll do pop on panels where I'll invite like a couple of people to just come hang out, and we'll just talk about like whatever crap happened that week. So we talked about the Jonah Hill stuff. We talked about crazy tweets that Smeth has been sending out. Talked a little bit about the Destiny.
Those have been a little unique. Those have been a little unique.
Destiny Nick Fuentes
on the
debate.
far end of the unique spectrum.
Is there anything else that happened this week that we haven't covered just yet? Ana Kasparian.
Nick Fuentes.
So the stuff with Ana Kasparian, we haven't really mentioned that yet.
Brain rot.
Sorry, what'd you
stuff.
say? What'd you say, Lauren?
I said that man is not real.
I don't know what that is, but
yeah, that person.
You don't know what that is?
The
No, what is
global
that?
conspiracy that a lizard person was on that plane.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was pretty funny.
The plane chick. Okay, I was confused at first too. The chick was like, she was walking off the plane. She's saying the guy's not real in the back, and like fucking, she wouldn't let them take off, so they had to take the plane back, and then no one's heard from her since.
Oh yeah. And then, well, no, I thought she tweeted out and said you guys would have done the same thing if you were in my position. Right after. So yeah.
Did you guys listen to the guy who was sitting across from her, like
no, that
telling
guy's
the story?
fake. That guy's fake. I did a whole video on him only to find
It
out
sounds
that guy's
fake.
fake.
It sounds
Pretty
fake.
sure that woman is in a CIA black site, by the way.
Okay, but yeah, the Ana Kasparian stuff. She more and more has been coming out with like new takes that are very different than things that TYT has pushed in the past. They're like a populist progressive audience is very much not happy with the stuff that she's saying. A number of people have left. Old people have criticized them. She was very critical of Dave Rubin and the way that he left and the stuff that he said afterwards. Do you guys think that there's a big distinction between what Ana is doing now and what Dave Rubin did before, or do you see it as like a similar trajectory?
Well, like Dave Rubin left and then shifted gears very, very suddenly, whereas Ana is still with with TYT.
You saw the way her and Jenk were literally screaming about like trans women in sports, right? Like they've been on the trans women in sports train the entire time, and then out of nowhere they're screaming and yelling about it, calling anybody who disagrees with them idiots. Like this is a very sudden change.
Is it really that sudden though? I feel like they were kind of starting to cast doubt about it many months ago, like 6 months ago or so.
No, about 3 months ago, there was the whole thing where Ana said that she didn't want to be called a birthing person. But outside of that, like there wasn't a whole lot to go off of. I didn't see anything 6 months ago about this.
It's my lead. I've infected.
Yeah, for me, I didn't see it either.
My radical feminism.
I saw a switch like that too.
So you think it was that sudden?
Because I do not watch.
It seemed like that to me, but maybe you saw something I didn't.
I wasn't paying attention. I just know I don't like. She's not saying anything crazy, and everybody's freaking out, and I don't understand why.
Well, it's not, again, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's just changing her beliefs, because everybody's upset with her and Jenk, and it's weird that both of them at the same time are having radical shifts to the opposite side of a topic on a lot of different topics, and they're not just like, you would think that this is a very delicate issue that you would handle in a very sensitive manner, right? Like, hey guys, so I know that we've like preached this to you guys and convinced you of this idea, but we've kind of changed our positions on it, and now we're kind of seeing that there's other information that we weren't aware of before. But instead, this is like me over and over yelling that Kyle Rittenhouse is completely guilty. He's a terrorist. He's this horrible murderer. He hates black people. He's a white nationalist. And then, like, out of nowhere being like, anybody who ever said that he did anything wrong is wrong. He's a hero. He's an American treasure. Anybody who's convinced of anything different is a liar and a piece of crap. Like, this is the same kind of like difference where you're going from night to day. It's very, very
and
different.
The pendulum swinging.
I don't know. I kind of feel
pendulum
like
is swinging.
I kind of feel like it was a gradual thing. Well, maybe fast paced because it was over months, but I don't know. I felt like they were softening their position on these things, and maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was stuff I just saw more recently, and I'm having issues thinking back on it. I have been having, unfortunately, for those who don't know, I have been having some memory issues because of a new medication I have to take for the seizures and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's an anti-seizure medication, and it gives me like psychosis. Basically, Lav was right about that.
Yeah, I've been covering the Young Turks for a long time. I am a strong hater of the Young Turks.
It was gradual.
I didn't see the gradual movement.
So they shifted on this stuff like literally in the last month?
Yeah, so again, there was the start with the I don't want to be called a birthing person thing. And then a couple months
later. What, 2 months ago? Something like that?
There's, about 3 months ago. And then out of nowhere, this. And so it's just very, very, like, it is a massive flip where they're going to the opposite position of what they've been saying, and they're the ones convincing their audiences of this position, and then acting like their audience are a bunch of idiots for believing that position. It's like you're the one who told them that crap.
I don't think it's a massive flip. I don't really I think it's kind of a change, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not really following, but like it's
the opposite.
I have someone in my chat saying that like he's been following forever, and he's saying Tom is exactly right. It was like the last 2 months or so, everything just flipped. Like
again, I have been an avid hater of TYT for a long time, and they are very different now.
That is weird. Then,
why would you watch them if I can't even watch them? It's so mind.
I do react content, so it's different, right? Like I'm going to react to people I think are saying stupid things. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched them for years.
I know I see Tom actually react to them quite a bit, so I'm just gonna believe Tom because I don't watch him that much. So
Lauren, go ahead.
My first time ever watching TYT is I was dating this guy, and I was talking about politics or whatever, and he's like, well, I disagree with you, and here's why. And he turned on the TYT, and then I was like, oh, you're this dumb. So we broke up. Yeah, because he like actively watched that. Like he fell asleep to it, and I feel like that's just like a sign. I feel like I missed a lot of signs of his low IQ. Maybe I just thought he was hot, and I was like ignoring the red flags. So then he just
We've all been there.
Low IQ. Be careful. What rate?
How hot was here's a theory. Here's a theory.
Not that hot.
I haven't watched TYT consistently for a few years. Last time I watched them consistently was probably like 2019 or something. But from just kind of without knowing a lot of recent backstory, what about it? A lot of people, they incubate these ideas in their heads. Like they have doubts more and more over time. They don't really say anything, especially when they're involved with like a wing of political community that tends to be more rabid, right, and want to cancel you if you change your views. So you could be incubating these kinds of ideas for a while, and then finally kind of hit sort of a breaking point, usually because of some triggering event, like in the case of Anna, getting into a whole bunch of turmoil with her response to the birthing person's stuff, right? So I could see that might be what's actually going on. Obviously, we're going to have to do a little bit of mind reading to come up with that one, but it's a pretty common thing that people do.
It almost feels though, like if you're saying the switch was as fast as it was, do you feel like maybe they push legislation for a certain purpose? And that's why they promote what they promote, and they promote it so strongly and then act
Well,
as if
so that would make sense, but they've always been kind of grifty, like always. They've always been like people who placate to their audience and just kind of don't make sense. They're never logically consistent. But Cenk just had a recent debate with Destiny where he talked about the fact that he did not want to negotiate on anything. He didn't feel like anything should be bipartisan, that Democrats shouldn't be allowing Republicans to fit their stuff into bills, and that like they need to take harder stances against this stuff and just not let things get through. But then the other day when he's screaming and yelling about the trans athletes, he's not so much talking about it being wrong and a lot more talking about the fact that it's a losing issue and it's going to make it to where Democrats are going to lose on positions. So it's not like that's a very different narrative than what he was saying just like a couple weeks ago in the debate.
I don't think
you also have to understand that in the past 2 months, so much information has come out about like trans people in sports. Like we're documenting more trans people in sports than ever before. We're documenting more, trans politics than ever before because there's been like a spotlight on it. So it makes sense that it's changing very rapidly because very rapidly we're getting more information about these things.
Well, except that Jesse Singal's article has been out for over a year now. It was like April of 2022 when his article came out that was exploring a lot of this stuff. Though that was different. That was like with the puberty blocker stuff, and they shifted gears on that in the last month apparently. But Tom, the thing though that I see is Cenk didn't seem like he was talking about negotiating with Republicans or coalition building with Republicans. He was talking about not wanting to lose seats to Republicans by having the Democrats.
No, he literally said, I don't care about bipartisanship. I don't want anything bipartisan. Democrats should not be giving so much to Republicans. That's like almost a word-for-word quote.
I think
that's not seats. No, he's talking about bills. He's talking about voting on bills. He's talking about like negotiating bills and allowing, because they were not talking about seats. They were talking about like how to get your positions or your platform into legislation.
So what? Okay, I'm a little confused then. What did he change positions on there? Because it sounded like he had the same position on that.
So,
like the only thing I heard him basically saying he didn't want to lose Democratic seats to Republicans because Democrats would go and buy into 100% of the demands of like trans and everything, right?
Yeah, so if your argument is this is a bad bill because it's wrong, like trans people actually, it is not fair for them to be in sports, like that's kind of all you have to do is just leave it there. But most of his speech was about it's a losing issue, it's hurting Democrats, it's making it to where they're not going to get elected. That so that
isn't consistent for him?
No, that's not like a pragmatic view of like how he's trying to like, take a very pragmatic lens on this and just say like, yes, like this is how we get things in. Whereas like bipartisanship is the pragmatic view of how you get legislation through. It's making sure that like you do negotiate some so that instead of nothing getting through, you get a little bit through. But he doesn't care about pragmatics. He cares about like being like pure and making sure that just your stuff is what matters and being stern on what you believe in. And so,
he's unwilling to do coalition building for bills for legislation with Republicans. That seems inconsistent with his with where he's now talking about like we can't get all these issues through. I don't know how rationally he's thinking these things through, honestly. I'd need to watch more of his advocacy and coverage to get a better feel of how rationally he's being or how irrational he's being.
I mean, this is mostly just from what I saw from Benny. Like, what I'm talking about right here is just what I saw in Benny's video with him talking about it. It is weird with him screaming and yelling about it in the way that he did and calling people idiots over and over with a flip like they just had. Like, that is just very strange.
I think there's I hate this particular thing. It scares me because I hope this never fucking happens to me. But I think that there's a trap here where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're more damned if you do. But if you change your opinion, people are gonna call you like you're flipping, you're a grifter, you're a hypocrite. But then if you
I'm
don't,
not talking
if you
about
actually,
them flipping
you know,
though. I'm not talking about
if you
them
change your-
changing their position. I'm talking about the way that they're engaging with them changing their positions. If I convince my audience of a position and then later yell at my audience for being idiots for believing that position, that's a really weird freaking thing to do, dude. That's weird. That's strange.
maybe you just forgot.
It's almost
Yeah.
like it's
Just-
almost like he makes it's almost like he makes money off of like his opinions, and that he would change.
That's
like
what everybody's
you're like
saying.
Yeah,
this is so weird. How weird is it?
It's a guy that literally his job is to yell at
It's
the
the
audience
grift,
and say
right?
what is.
That's the grift. But like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. It's not a very good grift if it is a grift, right? Because they're going to lose a lot of money before they make a lot of money back. So yeah, sure. In the long run, they could probably turn it around and have a more conservative leaning or centrist audience. But in the near and midterm, they're going to lose a ton by holding these positions, especially so aggressively, right? So the hostility is like I agree with Tom here. The hostility is the weird part because it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. If the flip was that sudden, then it makes no sense for them to suddenly be outraged by their own audience for not accepting that sudden change in gears. And then in addition to that, if it is a grift, it makes no sense because that outrage and that hostility toward their audience in that sudden change is only going to drive more of their audience away and lose them a lot of money. And it's going to take a long time because conservatives are not really known for being very on the fence with things, right? It's hard to actually to grift to that position and really get a strong following. You might be able to play sort of like what Tim Pool does, which is like sort of like somewhere around right-leaning centrist, maybe sometimes left-leaning centrist kind of thing. But that it takes a while to build that kind of audience. I don't see this as being a very lucrative grift. I think they're going to run into. I think they're going to lose a lot of money going in this direction.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like lots of people who are saying they're just doing this for money or something, like they're insane. Like
I actually think they
only
were doing it for money before. I think that they were doing it for money before, and it seems like now because they know that they can't win with the left. They know that the left eats itself alive. That they've just decided to be like, you know what? Let's at least try to have the right opinions. So
Yeah, that's why I say it's just as much of a grift. Like if you're afraid of looking like a hypocrite because you change your mind, then you fall into a trap where now you're like you've actually changed your mind, but you're afraid to talk about it, and so now you're going along the same thing. And so like if people like change their opinions, and like they've been doing this for so fucking long, so it doesn't surprise me if they've changed their opinions on some things,
Yeah,
So,
no, I don't. Again, my issue isn't them changing their opinions because the things that they're saying now are the things that I believe, right? Like the things that they're saying now are more in favor of what I'm saying. So obviously,
it could
I'm
be a lie.
happy with.
You're saying they could be lying.
No, I'm not even saying that.
George Floyd world. You think about a post like Kyle Rittenhouse world. You think about a post Trump elected world. There are different needs for a political content creator now than there were for the past 5 years. So they're moving and they're aging, they're maturing, right? So there was a time where we were all in crazy mode. You had to pick a side. You had to be on the right side of history. And now we're exhausted because we've been pretending for so long. And they're probably also exhausted for pretending so long that now they're finally like, yeah, we're just going to go back to business as usual. You guys forget that politics for majority of our lives were like this. Majority of our lives, people were moderates.
Yeah.
And then after Trump got elected, it went fucking crazy.
Yes, we've been talking about the fact that there was going to be the pendulum was going to swing back. Like we saw from early alt-right days and anti-SJW days, then swinging hardcore progressive and everybody being way too far left and way too crazy in that direction. And what I've been saying is I think like it's going to swing back right, but it's going to kind of even out towards the middle where like centrist has been the cringe thing. It's been the fence sitter, being a moderate is like the worst possible thing you can be. And I think that that's where like it's going to end up is being more moderate is going to make a lot more sense. The pendulum will swing again. The Overton window will move again after that. It's not going to settle there for the rest of ever.
Election season. Yeah, we're gearing up. Things are going to get crazy again, especially if Trump tries to run again. But, we forget that crazy things have been happening for the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's gonna win in the primary?
I think I'm going to assassinate him. This is a credible threat.
Hey, whoa. No.
No, it's not.
I don't
No,
think
it
that's
is not.
funny.
No, it is not. That is going to get me banned. No, it is not. This is not
Yeah.
funny.
Lav is
The
a live
Secret
lab liar.
Service. Secret
I'm
Services
sorry.
are going to
Lauren,
Thank you
become
for doing that,
tomfoolery
Tom.
Lauren,
Thank
you
you
fans.
for
don't know
doing
this about me. I'm a liar.
that.
I'm a liar. I'm not really gonna do it. I'm not really gonna do it.
The Secret Service are going to become tomfoolery fans. They're
idea.
going to be. You're going to see the Secret Service walking around with patches that say Tom is fair pretty soon.
I
so.
actually, this is a conspiracy.
Facts.
Smeth is a glowy. Smeth has been infiltrating this community, being, berserk and crazy and creepy and weird, but he's actually a fucking fed. And it's under all of our noses.
I don't know what is that. What a
Smith?
glowy is? Is a undercover fed?
If you ask
Yeah.
Yeah.
look,
I've never heard that term before. I was
Isn't
like,
that
what?
what
What's a
glowy
glowy?
Mm.
The original
comes from,
term is
it comes
far worse than that.
We're not all
Kinda comes
terminally
from,
It's
online.
worse
the
than
guy
that?
the guy that
Temple
made
OS
Temple
guy.
OS. Yeah.
Yeah.
because-
It's worse than that.
um,
It's glow N words. Hard R.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the original
nice.
term.
Okay.
Well, he said that you have to use the N word to deprogram yourself. That was what he would
Yeah,
say.
that was this thing.
But he's kind of right now in
How's
one
the
way. Like
N-word
now
discourse?
the only way you can tell if you're talking in text to somebody online, the only way in a few years you're going to be able to tell at all that they're not AI is if they use slurs and stuff. So you kind of was kind of right, I
It's kind
guess.
of true. It's kind of true.
There was a comedian who did a whole joke on that. Yeah, about how it's bad to say the N word, but you kind of are forced to say the N word in order.
Lauren,
to
have
get-
you ever said the N word?
Have I ever in
Yeah.
my life?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have. I
How
don't think
recently would you say?
I'm on camera. On camera, I don't think ever.
Good idea. Don't do it on camera ever. Don't.
I
Good
think you
idea.
should do it for fun.
Nah. No, you shouldn't.
Get it out just once.
That's
think I
bad
said-
life advice. Lab.
I think I've said soft A like just a couple of times over the last week.
Oh my gosh.
Mom,
What the fuck?
So, Lab, I know you from whatever podcast. What
You don't
else
wanna
have
know.
you what else do you like to do?
You don't want to know.
Oh,
don't wanna know.
Yep, we can't get into that.
Lav is super famous. Okay, just know that. Okay, Lav is super famous.
I
She's
am
infamous.
I'm very beautiful, stunning, charismatic, intelligent.
Okay, let's not take this too far, Lav. Come
I'm a women's advocate.
on.
I'm a notable.
Okay,
I'm a
come on,
notable.
let's not take this too far, Lav.
I'm a notable. I'm a notable turf.
No, so she first popped up as like an ex
Anti-sex worker,
OnlyFans, anti OnlyFans type person, then started getting into like hardcore feminist sorts of beliefs, and that's how she ended up on the whatever podcast, is to argue like more radical feminist beliefs. She recently came out with a turf video to
Manifesto, yeah.
yeah, turf manifesto. That's what I called it. I don't think that's what you called it, but
No.
Oh, okay, so you don't think that trans people should be in women's sports?
Well, I think that trans people don't exist, and I think that you should be in the you should be in the sex sport that you are. Like, sports should be sexed,
Well,
and you should adhere to them.
When you say trans people don't exist, you mean that you think that people are just their gender and that's it. However, can you acknowledge that?
there's sex.
Can you acknowledge that people experience gender dysphoria?
No.
You don't think people experience gender dysphoria?
So, what do you think gender dysphoria? Here we go. I'm rolling
Here
up
we
my
go.
sleeves.
Okay.
I
Mm,
it's not conservative, so I don't think that you should go through the surgery or anything like that, because I don't think that medical transitioning is the way. That being said, gender dysphoria is the idea.
Where is
you-
gender dysphoria in the brain?
Well,
in the
okay, it's
genitals.
something that's been acknowledged by all of the DSM beats. So there's certain diseases
So, what's
that
female
haven't-
hysteria?
they're not in DSM 4
So
or
is
5.
schizophrenia.
Sure, but how do we know that gender dysphoria is going to stay in the DSM?
is it,
So-
well, DSM-4 is not
Correction.
recognized by the United States as the official,
We
as
don't
the
know that
authority
about
anymore.
any mental illness.
Is a record is a record of noticing side effects of menstrual symptoms, of going on your menstrual cycle and going through PMS. So it's like it is at least acknowledging symptoms of something. Whereas this thing that has been studied and acknowledged and recognized for a long time as gender dysphoria has been seen in young, specifically mostly males.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow your mind right now, Lauren.
It's more trans men now.
Gender dysphoria has been studied, and the only evidence that we have relating to any proof of gender dysphoria is this thing called autogynephilia and homosexual transsexualism.
And autoandrophilia.
And autoandrophilia. So
actually, right now there are more. There's been an exponential in the past few years, exponential growth in the amount of female to male transitioners, such that now the amount of female to male is actually way more than the amount of male to female.
I don't think, right, and I think that is totally brought on by societal pressure and is not genuine gender dysphoria. I think gender dysphoria is really restricted to an extremely limited number of people. Not almost 95% of the time men. They typically express feelings of desire to be in the societal roles of like being I want to be a mom. I want to be more than just being a highly effeminate man. That even with experiencing gender dysphoria at a young age, such as a 2-year-old, I still don't think that you should put puberty blockers or actually change their gender or do any physical transitions, because people who experience gender dysphoria at an early age often stop feeling gender dysphoria post puberty. So
yeah, but also all gender dysphoria is societal. All gender you can't be born with it. It's how society treats, like, so say like you are a maybe you hate being treated like a woman and you really love like that plus the idea of having like a man's body, like it's titillating.
That's social. That's a little bit different. So it depends. There's different ways in which that people's gender dysphoria or sex dysphoria manifests. So some people deal with it like in terms of how it is that society reflects back on them. Some people don't. Some people it's more about how they see a difference between their body and like a subset of the humanity's other bodies, right? So like for instance, that's my like I don't have an issue if people want to misgender me or something. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't even care. So it's not how society reflects back on me. It's more that I ended up growing into a body that didn't make a lot of sense to me, and it didn't look anything like my sister's and my mother's. So very different experience. So you're talking about one type of experience, and there's another type.
I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, of course, it's different. Everybody's experience, but I mean, I don't think that you like. And I'm not saying this to like call you. I don't think you're born with gender dysphoria. I think that you develop it, and I don't think it can just go away that easy. But I think you develop it because of like your parents and your environment and the way that you see your own gender and the way you see like your role models and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of like complex reasons, but I think it's all societal. And I think that if we had better, like healthier navigation of people's like identity or people like ability to just be themselves, and people weren't repressed in so many ways, then they would not feel the need to do this.
I think a lot of what you're saying has to do with the new wave, like LGBTQ craze, especially that's hitting middle school age children. However, the gender dysphoria that has been studied for centuries now, I think is different because there was a more consistent psychological. So the DSM is just essentially a list of symptoms, and sometimes these psychological issues can be fully nature. So you're judging gender dysphoria because you think that there's no nature, it's all it's like nature versus nurture. You think it's all
you aren't born with any identity.
Wait, hold on.
Right,
listen,
you think
most
it's all nurture, but there's plenty of psychological issues that are caused by society.
Yes, I don't know, but oh my god, my dog is being so annoying.
Like you're not born
Kill
with
that freaking
PTSD.
thing.
I'm gonna kill it.
Kill it.
Okay, you're not born with PTSD, but PTSD is still a psychological
So
issues.
everyone acknowledges that there's something wrong with transsexuals. Nobody's saying that there's anything that it's normal.
And it's
But we're
dysphoria.
saying that your psychosis is not anyone else's problem. So you not
It's real.
What?
yeah, like it's very real to you, just as schizophrenia is very real to schizophrenics.
I
but
care
it
about.
should
I
not
care about
affect
schizophrenia.
society. So like you are not a woman because you don't like your penis.
Wait, but that's very different. Okay, so like how society overreacts to something, sure, that's one thing. But what, like the way that you engage with somebody, the way that you influence other people, and the effects that your actions have on another person are also your responsibility. People love to pull out like personal responsibility as a way to just like avoid being responsible for your own actions. I use this example pretty often. Like a woman, hottest woman you've ever seen, looks just like Lav, walks up to somebody, married man, okay, she knows he's married, she knows he has kids, and she walks up to him and like opens up her trench coat and she's butt naked and she's like, I want to have sex with you. And now he has sex with this woman, ruins his marriage, like, you know, breaks up the family. It's not her responsibility to take care of his family. She didn't take vows to his wife. But it is her responsibility to not influence him in a negative way. She's still responsible for how she engages with that man, and that is still personal responsibility. So you can't say like, well, it's not my responsibility to use pronouns that I know might actually cause you some sort of distress and cause you problems and maybe even give you like at an extreme level suicidal ideation.
This conversation is gonna get so bogged down because like now the disagreements would be in what's actually good and healthy for trans people, which is something that people disagree with, and so also there's also
sure.
what asks are too much, what asks are not, like, so like of course,
sure,
like,
but wait,
like
but hold on, wait,
nobody in their right mind would like go
hold
up to a trans person
hold
and just
on. Smith, hold on. What I was responding to was somebody saying that it is not your responsibility to care about somebody else's problems. That's what I was responding to. Like that you should not have to change your actions because somebody else has a mental health issue. And I'm saying that's never true.
No, it's sometimes true. It depends on how much of an ask it is. Like if the problem is like you hate people with green eyes, and I come around, it's like, well, I'm sorry, I gotta tell you, like I'm not wearing contacts for you, buddy. So
yes, to an extent, but it was made as a blanket statement. And that's what I'm arguing with the argument that was made. I'm not saying that like anything is okay now. I'm saying that you can't just say, well, it's never your responsibility to change your actions for somebody else.
I don't think it's your responsibility, like strictly, but like like people just you're of course, like if you hate like I don't understand why like TERFs hate trans people. Like
They don't.
why do you have to? Well, some of them do. And it's just
no. Some TERFs
it makes
hate
the rest look
men.
really bad.
Some TERFs hate
Okay,
men,
oh there
but
you
most
yeah, okay.
TERFs, But most TERFs hate the concept of gender.
True, and I
It's not-
respect that.
I don't hate any like trans people as like a hegemon, right? Like I certainly hate some trans people, but not because they're trans, just because they suck.
I wonder who.
But trans people,
Mr.
like,
Wu.
so if you
John
hate
Walker
gender,
Flint.
like I feel like the way I feel is that trans people, like, gender is like a virus, like a painful virus that trans people are the most affected by out of everybody. And it's like, well, like if you hate gender, you really feel for trans people.
Yeah, that's true, but it's how pushy they are. Like it's annoyance mixed with a hatred for the overall idea.
Yeah, internet trannies are like super pushy, super pushy. So I can kind of agree with that. But
like
I think
literally yesterday I was like all female Discord server, and I got fucking ransacked by all these fucking moids who were like, you're a bigot, and it's like, dude, it's make your own fucking Discord. Like, it's just insane. It's just ridiculous.
you go stirring shit up though, so of course you're gonna get bombarded.
Do you, Lav? Is that your thing?
I mean,
You
think
should-
about if I go into like a leftist server, I'm going to get bombarded because I stir shit up, right? You and I do a similar kind of shit disturbing all the time, right?
You're telling me you're telling me about my behavior like I don't understand my behavior. Yes, I'm very aware
Yeah,
that I'm
so
insensitive.
you
But
go
still,
and
that
you
does not
poke
that does not
bees, you
change
poke
the fact
hornets'
that people are
nests.
still pushy. They're still
You-
pushy.
Sure, but your example was, hey, I go around poking hornets' nests, and then when I go into a server, suddenly I get bombarded by people because of all the hornets' nests I poked. Like, it's not, I don't know, not a very good example. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, like internet trans people tend to be pretty extreme, unfortunately, and I think a lot of them are oftentimes more just, calling themselves trans and getting in on, the status that they can get from it, and then being a bunch of assholes to a bunch of people who won't bend over backwards for them.
True.
I think this is silly. I think all of it is silly. I think if we just, had a couple re-education camps, everything would be we'd be off to a good start.
Yeah, we should throw all the internet whores into
Hello?
the camp.
Am I still live?
We can clean them all up, get rid of all the diseases,
I agree. Look how good it worked with me.
reprogram them.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
what program did you go to, Lav? You have to
Yeah,
shout it out.
Big tech's school for naughty
Oh.
girls.
Was that
Alright, yes,
Facebook?
Yeah, that's on Facebook.
It was a
That's
dumb
actually-
dumb.
yeah, that's Facebook. He was in a back alley.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, the trans stuff. I just don't think that trans women are women. I think that trans women are men, and they need to get help, but not in the form of affirming, but in the form of therapy.
But I think yeah, but they're a trans woman identifies as femininity. Oh, well, no, it depends. Like, I know you're gonna have, and I understand that issue you're gonna take with the sexual aspect of that. But just that part of them should be affirmed. Like, they should be able to wear dresses and
No,
shit.
absolutely.
Effeminate man.
No,
Am I
that's what I'm
lagging out
saying.
here?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can just be an
I don't
effeminate
think
man.
I
You
don't
can
think
get
they
a
can hear
boob
me right now. I
job.
don't even know
You
if my
can wear a
stream can hear
bad
me.
wig like Zonia. You can get your dick cut off. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You can do whatever you want with your body, but you shouldn't be able to change your sex on your ID. You shouldn't be able to enter government sanctioned spaces for females because they're a protected class. So yeah.
Wait, are there states that let you change your sex on your ID?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You can
California
change
lets
it
you
to
do
X.
it.
That's
could be
wild.
sex-
Well, that's a little wild. Yeah.
That's wild.
Like you have to there's some medications that's different for males and females. How the fuck are they allowed to do that?
California engages with the entire thing in a very weird and unhealthy way. Like, even their processes for even their processes for diagnosing gender dysphoria is way too it's bad. It's just not good. And they end up having more detransitions than almost any other state. Like, it's really, really not good.
Yeah, I hope all these people get helped with
Man.
some re-education.
As the Jew who wants re-education camps.
Listen, I've moved over. Listen, I was radical feminist pipeline to eugenicist pipeline. You'd be surprised on how frequent.
You really care a lot about the labels and the titles and stuff, right? Self-described TERF, radical feminists, eugenicists. The labels, the labels and the titles are super important for you.
You gotta
aren't they?
market yourself, baby. You gotta market yourself. You can't just walk
Seems
around
it
aimless.
seems
You can't just walk
but the
around
thi-
aimless because then you become a drama channel like you, and you have 50 active viewers watching you talk shit about other streamers.
Hey, whoa, strays!
seems-
Hold up, chill.
it seems
You
it
have
seems
to
like
have a message.
it seems like a great way to create sort of a synthesized way of operating. So instead of really assessing each position on its merits and looking at the data at the time, it really comes down to trying to live up to a label and sort of synthetically creating all your positions to better match that label.
All right, real
I don't
quick,
think
hold
she
on.
does that.
Hold
I
on.
think that
real
she's
quick,
she's just
real
I
quick.
think she's very good
Hold
at
up.
that.
I gotta
think
be
I do
able
it
to
for fun.
moderate. Everybody shut up. All right, real quick. Jimberly for $6.90 said, please tell Lauren that I thought her apology video with the ukulele was great, and I hope she's back touring soon. No fans on stage, though. Political Academy for 420 said, can a man ever be a woman, or have we all lost our minds? And no cunning linguistics, Tom. Love, Extreme Dad.
Do any of you
Cunning
know the ukulele
linguistics.
reference?
No, cunnilingus.
I don't know what the ukulele thing is. Is that a different Lauren, or I think it's a different Lauren.
That's a different person entirely.
Yeah,
It's not, I don't even think her name
that
is
was the
Lauren,
joke.
is it? Yeah.
Does it look like me or something?
A little
I don't
bit.
know.
Like, not really, but not really.
You guys are just thin white women.
Oh, that's the groomer person. Okay. So their question is, can a man ever
My
be
brother in arms.
a woman? So yeah, so like he says no linguistic tricks, but it is linguistics. Like that's what you're asking. You're asking about how we use words, how we use concepts. Generally, sex is going to be different. Male and female are one thing. Man and woman are a different thing. How we identify a man is going to be based on whether or not we think he's masculine enough to be considered a man. He fits the concept of what we call manhood, and so we're going to call him a man based on that masculinity. I think that a man can become a woman. That's why we call it transitioning, is because they have transitioned from one gender to another.
Well, then what you're saying is that trans people are wrong because self-ID doesn't work with what you just said. So
no, duh. Self-ID is freaking stupid. It is one of the dumbest things in the world. Yeah, no, duh. Trans people, whatever that means. Yes, trans people are retarded and wrong, and they're saying the dumbest things in the world, only to their detriment.
Is there like a deciding factor for you, Tom? Like,
There's
okay,
not
like
a
I remember when I
deciding
read
factor.
like a piece of your paper. Wait. I read a piece of your paper where it was talking about black people, right? And it was like, like you look at me and someone like me, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's not a black person." But when I tell you my dad's black, all of a sudden you're like, "Okay, actually, he's a black person," right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, where's the deciding factor for So like,
So
if
there's
someone
not
looks
a
like,
I got you.
The deciding
There's
factor
not
for
a
you would be how
decide-
much red you wear.
There's not a deciding factor, so it's a concept. So like if we talk about a chair, like we can't say like, well, what if it doesn't have 4 legs anymore? Does it stop being a chair? No, because it can have like 8 legs and wheels, and it's a computer chair or something, right? So it's a very different thing, but conceptually we're going to put them in the same box. So let's say we have a person.
But you said it wasn't like...
Just listen, I'm answering your question, I promise. So let's say that there's a person walking down the road with like a dress, high heels, tights, very thin. They have like a lot of makeup on, long hair, nail polish, shaved legs, all this stuff, but they have a big old beard, right? So we have things that are weighted characteristics. Some characteristics matter more than all of the others. That big old beard is going to matter more than the 10 other things that I mentioned. And so that beard is going to make you call them a man.
Couldn't you say the chromosome characteristic is like really the only characteristic that matters? And that's
we would separate that into sex, though.
My question would be like something like, okay, so like my question would be something like this, like, okay, you have someone that looks like Lauren here, okay, and then when she takes her pants off, there's a penis. Is that when the weighted characteristic adds in, or
wait, you see me without my pants already? Did my videos leave?
Yes.
Oh god,
that would obviously change.
Exactly what
oh god, the things I would do for access to that content.
Yes, that would obviously change.
Jesus Christ, we got a fucking Moid here. What the?
Yeah, so like if somebody takes their pants off, that obviously changes the way that you view them conceptually, for sure. But like you're going to, so like when we say,
they would be a woman until you see the penis.
Hold on, I'm answering this already. Hold on, just chill, bro. I promise. Each time I'm answering your question, you gotta let me build the building blocks, okay? So we have people that we call men, but they also will dress like women sometimes, and we'll call them cross-dressers, right? Or drag queens or something like that. We will say that the way that they live their life, the way that they live their life is one thing versus how they're presenting in one moment. Those are going to be two different things. And so we can still say that, like, yes, somebody is conceptually, generally going to look like a man, whereas like in this moment, I picture them as a woman. You can still separate those two things.
I've got a better way to do this. Okay, so it's like, so we got a bimodal sexual difference. We got two sexes. Okay, then we have gender, which gender is what you're trying to figure out what people's sex is. We used to not know what the fuck chromosomes are. So gender refers to all of your secondary sex characteristics and whatever those mean in a given society. In some societies, you might wear pink if you're a girl, and that would be considered a secondary sex characteristic.
That is
like
not a
certain
secondary
behaviors.
sex
But you have
characteristic.
tits.
Secondary
Yeah.
sex
No,
That
characteristics.
is not
Okay, so-
secondary sex
Okay.
Those are
characteristics.
physical.
And
Okay, secondary sex characteristics.
Show us
and
that
third-
again.
and
What was?
third,
growing a
third-
beard.
third sex secondary. So I'm saying like things that are
Third
not literally
secondary
your sex.
characteristics.
Yes, whatever the fuck. I think
Social
secondary works fine. I'm including social traits. I'm saying that like tits, beard, muscles, like these do not actually tell you what sex someone is, but enough of these things line up, like wearing pink. These are things that indicate what sex you are in a given culture. Okay, and the social ones are all bullshit, but they still are indicators that we use because that's how we are.
Yes.
Like
I mean,
playing with
gender
Barbies.
is
Yeah.
gender is generally an indicator of sex as well.
Of your sex. Yes. So when you are transgender, you actually want to indicate that you are a different sex.
Right. Well, yes, exactly. Yes, gender is an indicator of sex.
Changing the appearance of your secondary characteristics doesn't change, which is why they're called secondary characteristics. Doesn't change the primary fact that your chromosomes really determine your sex. And I think that people have created this idea of gender. And so I guess I would agree with Lav here to distinguish these two concepts in order to make it more societally.
But they are
normal
actually
for
two separate
gender
concepts.
people to
Like
be
they are
involved.
literally two separate concepts. Like we categorize
Yeah,
these
One of
things
them
very
is a
differently.
shitty way
Hold
of,
on,
of,
but damn
one of them
it,
is a
dude.
shitty
How
way
is
of
every single time I
describing
say
sex.
like half a word, like that wearing pink is not a sex thing, right? It's not. But it is a gender thing. And so they are
in a
literally
given
two
culture,
separate
we use shit
concepts.
like that. Okay. You go to school, in a school with uniforms, and you wear a skirt. That's going to be something that we're going to use to indicate what sex you are, and it's also
Yes.
something we're going to use as we're going to call that gender. So the things that are
Yes.
okay. Well, you got me. I was wrong. Like when the specifically said secondary sex characteristics, I meant your physical secondary sex characteristics and other things socially that we use, which are which are
characteristics.
secondary from your sex that we
Gendered
use to indicate what
characteristics,
sex you are. So that is
Yeah.
gender, and so gender is a shitty heuristic that we use to indicate at a platonic form, which is your sex.
When
No,
you say
the
it's
reason
a
why
shitty
gender has
Sorry, go ahead.
the reason why gender has become a defining thing distinct from sex is because when you look at sex over time, the expression from people of their sex changes over time. The roles change, the styles change, the colors change. So there has to be some other way to sort of categorize beyond just sex if that's not going to remain consistent throughout time and
Because sex
culture
is
and region.
consistent. Because sex is consistent, but gender is not.
Yeah. No, well, your like physical like sex characteristics are not the social ones, like wearing pink or wearing a skirt in like a fucking school with a uniform. Those will change, but your physical properties of your body, they're always going to be consistent indicators, and you're going to have enough of those clusters. It's going to indicate the platonic form of the sex.
Sure.
Like
yeah. I don't think anybody.
So you can make enough of these like these social weird like things like the pink and the dress thing, and you can make enough of these like you can try to like get surgeries to and what you're doing is you're trying to trick people about what sex you are.
Okay,
yes, sure,
here's
that's
the thing.
part of it. Yeah.
Well, sort of.
I don't
but
think
yeah,
tricking is you're being bad faith by
Yeah.
saying tricking, but sure,
I don't
like
think it's
you're
bad
trying.
faith.
It is bad faith
I'm
because you're
being-
saying
I'm being
no,
not-
no,
I'm being
it
not
is bad
compassionate.
faith. No, you are no, because tricked adds intent into the word, saying that you present
You
differently.
intend to make
So
you
bro,
intend. All
you
right,
seriously
no,
can't. Like, you
literally,
can't
I said
stop
it because I
interrupting,
meant
bro.
intent. I
Yes,
said it
but that-
because I meant intent.
And I'm saying
I
that
mean,
that's bad
when
faith.
when you are
Yes, I'm
trans,
saying
you
that that's
intend
bad faith.
to make me think that you are the opposite sex. That is your
Yes,
intent. You're
and
intending
I'm
to
saying
trick
that
me.
that's bad faith. Yes.
No,
that
it's
is
not
what
bad
I'm
faith.
saying.
It's
Like-
literally true.
It's kind of like with women wearing makeup, right? There's a deception to it in a way, but it's not necessarily like a nefarious deception.
No, it's not nefarious. No.
Actually, it's super.
So I get it. Yeah. So when you say tricked, it just sounds like you're saying it's nefarious, but
It has
you
to
don't
be
mean it in a
nefarious.
nefarious way.
I'm saying
It has to be nefarious for trick to be the word. I would have to. I'm just gonna assume you're right there. It's okay. I don't want to search that up right now. It just seems stupid.
They're actually they're mind raping you.
Me?
Yeah, instead of
Great.
trick,
Why?
it's
What?
actually a mind rape.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is something that we
Wow,
connect.
is that even
so
a word?
listen, so hold on. So we connect sex and gender that are not necessarily connected, and that's what people are trying to say with a lot of these things.
So
Is that
you're
like
trying to distinguish? You're trying to create a differential between the two. However, one is just describing the expression of the other. Gender is just describing the expression of sex. So you could just say the expression of sex. Societal sex.
Kind of, because the point is that it's not actually related to sex all the time. Carrying a purse, it has nothing to do with your sex. Wearing a skirt has nothing to do with your sex.
Wearing to sex.
Wearing makeup has nothing to do with sex. We relate the two back to each other, but it's not actually a biological thing. And so the point is that somebody can go and do those things. So the point is that somebody can go do those things, and it's not biological, and they're not necessarily trying. No, wearing makeup is not biological. No, it is not.
It's societal.
Yes, it's societal. Yes.
Keep saying it is a societal relation to your sex. So it is a societal expression of your biological sex. However, just because you express to society the opposite of your true biological sex, or you wish to, that doesn't make you actually the opposite sex.
Right, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is but that's but wait, hold on, because you interrupted me while I was saying, like, literally, like, yeah, people are not there. So a lot of like the people who are separating these things, their entire point is that they are separate things, and that a male can do these other things, and it shouldn't have actually like represent their sex. I don't think I agree with that, because I do think a lot of these things are reinforced by sex. So like, I think it is more likely that you do something based on estrogen, testosterone. There's a lot of things that actually make you more likely to do feminine or masculine things. But when we put intent on this, like you are trying to trick somebody, a lot of people will say, no, I'm actually like perfectly happy presenting in a feminine way, and you knowing that I have a penis at the same time. Like, they have no issue with that because they want to separate the two from one another.
I don't think that makes any sense. I think that's like a lie. Because like, I think that if you are trans, you want to like those things are indicators of your sex. The reason that you want to change the indicators is because you want
them to be indicators, bro. I literally just
arguing then they don't need to be trans. If they don't want them to be indicators, then they don't need to be trans. Which is why I just said I need to do more of this. I need more of this shit. I used to carry a purse all the time. I need to do that. I need to add more. I need to do this shit so I can advocate for these things to be transgressed without people.
Totally different argument as to whether or not we call them trans. That's an insanely different argument.
Yeah, hold on, Smeth. Do you think like trans is sort of like the big crowning achievement? It's like the trophy to earn. Because like, think of this: most transsexuals, they transition. And then they don't talk about being trans after that. They don't care about being trans. They're not really into that. And it's not really like
extremely hard to believe.
Well, you're used to seeing like political trans people, right? So it's a very different kind of thing.
Trans advocates for sure do.
They genuinely identify as trans. Like, that's the thing they identify as, or a lot of them do. But most transsexuals don't. They transition and then boom, they're done. They're not trans anymore. And they don't talk about it. They're not interested. They generally stealth, right? They don't talk about their being that they used to be, a man or anything like that, right?
Really rare. I think stealthing is really rare unless you transition really early, because it costs a lot of money and like a lot of money and resources and time to actually be able to like fully pass. And I think that's an incredibly rare achievement.
Yeah, people be saying that like trans people pass, and then it's like people like Brianna Wu. I don't buy into this whole passing thing.
Lav, are you incapable of not talking shit about people who aren't here? Is that is this an addiction of yours? Do you like start getting the shakes if you don't shit talk somebody? Are you going to be shit talking Hassan next? What do you got to say about Hassan next? Let's hear what you got got to say about it still on?
If I have something to
Who
say,
else we got?
you
You have
run a
something to say
fucking
about-
drama channel. You're talking to me
That is
about
true.
this? Fucking calling the kettle and an
Yes,
unsuccessful
I can
drama
do,
channel.
I can do,
Get a
yes, I
fucking
can do
grip,
commentary,
loser.
but you just shit talk people.
Oh, it's
and
different
just
when I
out of
do it.
nowhere
It's
and
different
just
when I
make
do it.
shit up about people.
I think it's
Yes,
more
it is
heinous that
actually
you're like a
different. It's vastly
50-year-old
different.
man doing it.
It's
Where's your
vastly
family
different.
and job?
Look, Lav, you're a failed prostitute. What the fuck? You've
What do you
got
mean
no
failed
standing
prostitute?
here.
I'm
No
I'm
standing
getting
here.
married. I have
Yeah.
a successful career. I'm a philanthropist. I have a
Yes. I'm sure your husband
movement
is so
under
happy
me.
with the fact that you're so unhinged online that you get doxxed IRL constantly, so everybody knows where the fuck you and him live.
Come to my house,
Yeah.
by the
Like,
way.
the dogs deserve it. I don't
Come to my
like
house,
this way
by
this
the
is
way,
going.
pussies.
All right,
People
hold
that,
on.
like you start turning into like people that dogs get deserve it and shit like that. I'm like, no, fuck you, you're out. And like that,
All
you're,
right,
you're
no,
wrong now.
hold
Like,
Zonia,
you
you're
started
trying-
off
you're
right.
trying to do-
Zonia, you started off
You're
right,
trying
and
to
then you turned
humiliate
into
me
a
when you
monster.
don't realize that your life is more
she
embarrassing by every
Started off,
measure.
Sonia, you started off
Smith,
correct, and you turned into a
unironically-
fucking monster.
Smith, she unironically, legitimately baited them. It's actually up on Kiwi Farms. She
Okay.
actually baited
All right.
them and said, "Go ahead,
Hold on.
try to find me."
Kiwi Farms
Hold on.
baited
Troon.
them, yeah.
No.
Kiwi
I'm about
Farms
to mute
Troon.
everybody.
50
Hold
years
on.
old, by the way. 50 years
Hold
old,
on.
by the way. No family, no
Stop.
job, by the way.
Okay,
He doesn't even know
so-
my age.
All right, I'm muting everybody. Hold on. I'm trying to get in. You guys gotta chill. All right. We had another question. Lauren, great pair of opinions. Lav, I can smell your rotten image from here. Thank you. I don't know what the hell that. Aziom said, Lav and Smith, look up Turner's syndrome and please expound upon the non-existence of gender dysphoria. I completely disagree with the take and think it's inconsistent with reality. I'm sorry about the other one. I should not have read that. I didn't know what I was reading before. I should have read it before I actually said it out loud. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
She handled it well.
Smith,
I don't know.
why
I
did
don't,
you
I don't
suddenly
agree with.
flip on that one?
I don't agree with Lav that gender dysphoria is not real. It's absolutely real.
I don't think it's gender dysphoria. I think it's like it's literally just like body dysmorphia with like another
Oh my
name
God,
to make
you
it sound more like pitiful.
Dysmorphia is real, but you can't understand gender dysmorphia.
No, I understand the
dysphoria.
concept. I understand, but it's
Sorry.
as a philosophy, gender dysphoria doesn't make sense because there's no fixed gender.
What is the
doesn't
philosophy
change-
there?
What do you
There's no-
mean? What is the
well, there's-
philosophy?
You said,
The
you
philosophy
said
of gender?
as a
There's-
philosophy.
Hold on. There's no fixed mind state either, but we also have things like PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar. Like we have a bunch of things that just don't fit because of the way society is. All of those things are only mental illnesses because you aren't capable of fitting into society in a normal way.
Sure, but we acknowledge that social sciences aren't an exact science until it comes to like transsexualism, and then we're like, no, this is it. Like this is binary, and you have to do this, and you have to treat it this way, and that's what I think is ridiculous.
But that's still based on society.
Sure.
That's still going to be based on society.
Sure.
In that extent, I think that gender dysphoria could be because I think that diagnosis in itself is inherently flawed. So I think that there's an argument to be made that gender dysphoria is a constellation of traits that could be a little bit different with one person and a little bit different than another person, but they hit enough of these dots that we call it gender dysphoria.
It also
mean,
comes
that's
down to progressivism, right? So like we think that there should be a statute of behavior for like the normal person in a working society, right? Like mentally well, you need to be this mature to do this said thing, this old to do whatever. And I completely lost my train of thought. Hold on. Oh, and like gender dysphoria, the concept of like that we want to value a binary gender that like enslaves women is like really distasteful to me, and it doesn't seem like something that we
It's
should
not
keep.
enslaving
Well,
women.
there's more than two now.
Recognizing biological
where-
men and women that we've recognized in all societies for thousands of years. And
Like that women like to wear pink and do their nails and wear
I
eyelashes.
think thousands of years ago they were wearing pink and doing their nails. I think
No,
thousands
this is what
of
I'm
years ago, we
saying.
had
So
the
this is what
gathering.
This is what I'm saying. So body dysmorphia would be that you're uncomfortable with like your penis. That makes sense. Gender dysphoria implies that you are unhappy with your place in society, what your sex what your
That's-
sex's role is in society.
That's
which
not
you
what
cannot
dysmorphia
change.
is. The dysmorphia is where you see
No.
it differently than what it actually is. That's what dysmorphia is. Dysphoria is
Yeah,
where
like
you're not
like your
happy with
head is
something.
too big
That's
or
not
something.
even necessarily true. This is not a consensus, by the way. Like people are
We
still
can
arguing what
change our
trans
place in
is.
society.
Okay.
We can improve. We can better. Like we can fix our place in society. Like I think that because we have these unhealthy expectations, we're like trans people are just being thrown under the bus because the trans people. I feel they feel gender dysphoria. It's real, and their quick short-term solution, which makes
This
sense
is-
to them,
don't
is
know
to
what-
change their body and try to fit in. But like what they should, and I wish they would focus on, which won't make them happy.
Short-term solution? What? When?
Yeah, it is to
Hold
try
on.
to change the society that makes them feel so bad about their place in society and
Yes,
feel
because
bad
it
for
harms
relative to
everyone.
that.
Because it harms everyone, not just trans people. It harms men, women, and everyone, children.
What,
I'm
for
just
them-
confused at this claim that they're supposed to value a gender binary, which doesn't make any sense to me. I haven't. That's a new one for me. Where do you feel that is the case?
I just think that recognizing recognizing that there's a difference between the sexes is beneficial because recognizing reality in general is beneficial. And however, that doesn't mean that I don't think you can be an effeminate man who engages in things in society that are typically reserved for women. That being said, with the way that the transgender movement is going thus far, we're having men invade women's spaces.
We're having men
And
breastfeed. Like it's
they are
ridiculous.
that's actually that's where someone asked me recently. Now, if with medical procedures you could genuinely turn a man into an actual woman who can, with a implanted uterus and
that's
vagina, would
This is
you?
if you learn more about that, it's horrifying. I
Never.
trust me, it's
Little-
really
not gonna
really
happen. It's just
horrifying.
not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen.
It's
But no,
so
but
the way
something
that works.
interesting is there are men who are doing things that I guess when women sometimes have trouble producing breast milk, there's a method that you could do to help lactate. And especially if you never got pregnant as a woman, like for instance, adopted mothers.
That's also weird. That's also weird. You should not be breastfeeding your adopted child. That's weird.
Do you
I don't
think it's
think that's
weird to wet nurse?
Why is that weird?
Wait,
Just
do you
'cause
think
it's
weird to
Because
wet nurse?
unnatural?
you're not doing that for the child.
Do you
You're
think it's
doing that
weird to
for
wet
you.
nurse?
You should
You
not.
think
You should not do. You should not do things that are not for the child
It
and
is
only
for the
you as a
child.
parent.
Breastfeeding is
for
for
the
the
child,
child.
right?
The
Child.
bond
In what
between
world
mother
is
and-
breastfeeding for the mom? What are you talking
No,
about?
I think it
breastfeeding
is for
was
the mom's
for the trans.
Is this
It's
an
an
extreme
auto,
conservative
no, it's an
appeal to nature or something?
autogynephilia argument
No,
that like they're getting
first
off
of all, there are
on
two
being
things happening.
feminine.
There are two things happening. So men cannot produce the same volume as women, no matter what. They
Oh,
cannot produce the same
No, but
volume.
I thought you said
When
something
men
about an
breastfeed,
adopted parent.
when men
I'm not talking about
breastfeed,
men.
it's on a lesser scale. It's on a lesser scale.
Probably.
Your child would be just as happy. First of all, breastfeed means a lot of things. To latch onto your breast and to pump the breast milk and feed it to your child in a bottle are different, and we have to specify when we're talking about that as well.
Okay.
So
I know,
when
but
I'm
I was
talking
just
about,
you
I'm
said
talking
an
about
adopted
purely.
parent. I thought you meant a woman that adopts a kid shouldn't breastfeed
Yes, that
her.
is still. Why
Yeah.
would an adopted mother breastfeed their child?
because of the
Foster the
bond.
bond.
Because you want to have
That
a
was just
mother-child relationship, and you want to establish that bond. It's like and you get a
Yeah.
puppy, and you want to you want to have bond with the puppy. You want to do very intimate things with the puppy, and you want to train. Like you're if you don't, you're gonna miss that if you don't do it. Hi, Lauren.
I think it's okay to miss that. I think it's very weird to do that.
I think that's.
It's weird to lean on. That's weird, right? I mean, this
I don't
is something
think
that's
so.
not
Occam's
uncommon.
razor,
This
when
has been
something
known for a
feels wrong
while.
and weird, you can probably say like, I don't want
That's
to do
not
this.
what Occam's razor means.
Yeah, simple answer. Yes, like the simplest answer is true. Like it makes me feel weird. We shouldn't do it.
I hate that.
I guess all those
hate that.
mothers,
I
those
hate that.
adoptive
I hate
mothers
that.
who've been doing it for decades, they shouldn't have been doing it. And
Yeah, that's weird. It's less weird for them to do it than for a male to do it. But it's still fucking weird.
saying something is weird just because it makes you feel
Doesn't
weird, like
mean
that. Saying you shouldn't
Yeah,
do
you just
something
gave
just
an
because it makes you
argument for
feel weird is
self-identity.
like, yeah.
You just made an argument for
There's
self-identity. They feel
Yeah.
like this is, so this is.
Feels matter more than anything
You
else.
do your thing.
apparently.
I don't think that there should be
you're-
laws against breastfeeding your child. I'm just saying that it should be socially shamed for sure.
But your feelings, your the feelings of disgust response, I'm sure. I don't know. I think Lab's gonna agree with this cringe thing I'm about to say. But your disgust response, that only matters for women. Men's disgust response doesn't matter. But we should
That's not
listen
true.
to
It's-
women's
it is-
disgust.
Eh, eh,
So
No.
no.
No, just
No.
everything.
What
No,
are you
it's
basing
just
this on? I just don't even know what this means.
everything is the whole world traumatizes Lav the whole time, so everybody has to appeal to her own personal feelings.
all right. I do have to move on. I appreciate everybody jumping on
Yeah,
tonight. If you
I
guys
gotta
want to
fucking
go
go, man.
around and shout yourselves out real quick, Smith.
I'm Smith. I'm real Smith. You can find me real Smith on everything. Be prepared because I have a 2-hour video coming up pretty soon, and you're gonna be happy about it. So let's just okay. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Speakeasy.
Yo, okay, Speakeasy, Escape with Speakeasy on YouTube, and I just do a little bit of everything. Thanks
Cool.
for having me, Tom.
Yes, sir.
I still think you're a simp for not responding to me in the chat, and you responded to Lav right away. So now I'm
didn't
gonna
see
call
it.
you a simp again.
I saw her
Nah,
say
bro.
one thing. I saw
was
her
talking
say
to you
one
like
thing.
crazy.
I didn't say-
Yeah,
I
you
swear
saw
I didn't
her
see
say her first
Mom,
thing.
admit it. I'm mommy.
Yes, I've looked at the chat like 4 or 5 times throughout this, and each time I've seen somebody and I've responded, and then I didn't see anything after. So that's it. Zonia.
Yes, Lav has dog dildos, and she has talked many times about fucking dogs and about
It's a
actually
dolphin
like
dildo.
tasting dog cum.
It's a dolphin
So
dildo. I'd like
she
to- I would
is
say it
an
is a dolphin
unironic dog
dildo.
fucker. There's
I
lots
would
of
fuck a
information up
dolphin. I
up
would
on
fuck a
Kiwi
dolphin, to
Farms.
be fair. I
It's-
would
I
fuck a
also have a
dolphin.
video up about it that goes into detail about it. So yeah, she is an unironic white woman moment dog fucker.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. She's got the actual dildos, and she has openly admitted to this several times over. Said she even enjoyed the taste of dog cum. Anyways, you guys take care. You all know who I am. See you later.
Thank you, Zonia. Laugh.
I would like to clarify in this solemn moment that it is a dolphin penis. And that if given the chance, I might have sex with the dolphin.
They're pretty smart.
Dogs are a little below my pay
They're
grade,
pretty
but
smart.
for the right one, who knows? If I've had a couple of drinks in me, we meet at a bar, who knows? Who knows what would happen? None of you know what would happen. Okay? You think that
I
you're
know,
so
dolphins
big.
are pretty
You
good
think that you're
looking, I
so
get it.
big and morally superior because you wouldn't fuck a dog. Okay. Okay, you haven't been in a room. You haven't been in the right room with the right lighting with the big ol' husky.
I was
Okay?
gonna say, it
When
depends on
women let the
breed.
dog lick the peanut butter off,
We
it's not
just went
abuse
right
'cause they're not
back to
hurting the dog.
dogs. You just admitted it. I'm just leaving it on that. I know you admitted
Alright.
it. It's all good.
I
Love
gotta
you.
go. Y'all have a good night. Later.
You do.
Yeah, that took a bit of a turn. I didn't feel like doing this anymore. I was like, okay, this is not fun anymore. I'm not here for it.